It's a well settled argument in favor of RERA that it is beneficial both to the home buyers as well as the developers. The developers or the trade is now finally rid of fly by night operators, primarily because of implementation of RERA. The customers, the actual home buyers, are not as happy with the implementation of RERA as the developers community are. The home buyers definitely have come under the umbrella of RERA and feel much more protected than the earlier regime of real estate being a completely unorganized sector. But we have seen in many cases the home buyers have still not been getting the relief that was meant to be. Say, for example, a developer who has not delivered the project, and despite the real estate regulator passing an order against the developer, asking him to refund the money collected along with interest from the home buyers have still not seen the refund which was due to them. We will discuss what needs to be done to see that finally the home buyers get what is their due under the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act. So from the developers community, it's a big thumbs up to the act, primarily for the reason that now real estate has come under the umbrella of being an organized sector. This has brought in tremendous trust in the home buyers towards the developers and projects which are registered with RERA. Now, coming to the issues which still need a redressal, I'll take up those issues one by one. So, like the registration of a particular project under Section 3 of the RERA, it takes anywhere between 30 days to 60 days to get the registration number. What would really help the developer is to get a temporary registration number within 1 week of filing the documents. Till the time a developer has taken the license and all the necessary permissions and NOCs and approvals, a temporary registration can be issued so that the developer can start marketing his project. Whatever conditions which the authority want to prescribe to issue the temporary registration can be prescribed. But this will help the developer to start monetizing the project at least 45 days to 60 days ahead, which will bring a lot of savings to the developer, which can be passed on to the home buyer. The second area which requires an immediate attention is 70% amount to be set aside in escrow account. We all know that the cost of land ranges anywhere between 40% to 65% of the project cost. So the developer comes to the real estate regulator for registration only after buying the land, getting all the necessary licenses, NOCs and approvals. So he has already invested himself to the extent of anywhere between 40 to 65% of the project cost. Now, on top of that, to keep 70% in escrow account is keeping money idle without getting any benefits. So, the 70% can be reduced to 50%, which will help the developers in reducing the cost, which can be passed on to the end users. But at the same time, it will not lead to any compromise in the interest of the home buyers. Even with 50% of money kept in escrow account, 99% of the projects would be completed within that amount. So a relook needs to be done for this 70% to be reduced to 50%. The other aspect has become very cumbersome for the developers is the quarterly compliance by filing a chartered accountant, an architect, and an engineer certificate on a quarterly basis. It's a humble suggestion that instead of this quarterly compliance, this can be reduced to a 6-monthly compliance with an aim that over the next 3 years it can be further reduced to an annual compliance. But quarterly compliance becomes too cumbersome, and it only adds to the cost of having compliance officers in the developer's office. The other aspect which can be looked into by the regulator is allowing the developers to link their escrow account with a flexi deposit. Nowadays, banks are offering current account linked flexi deposits also. If the money is kept in flexi deposit, which is linked to this escrow account, it will not compromise the home buyer's interest at all, because the developer cannot withdraw the money. Flexi is linked to escrow and the money will be in the escrow only. But this will help the developer to earn at least 3 to 4% interest on money lying idle in the escrow account. This would be a step in the right direction to reduce the cost of the housing. The promoter is supposed to give title insurance to the home buyer. Now, before a promoter buys any property, he gets legal due diligence and a legal opinion from an advocate with regards to the title of the property. Very few insurance companies have come forward with a product for title insurance. So for the time being, the question of title insurance should be kept in abeyance till the time such products are available in the market, and that too at a reasonable cost. Currently 1 or 2 products are available, but they are asking for 1.5% to 2% of the project valuation, and that too the title insurance is offered only for a period of 5 years. There's one more area which requires an urgent attention, and that is the defect liability which the promoter has to address for a period of 5 years. Promoters have no problem in addressing the structural defects of the constructed building for a period of 5 years. The problem comes with all the equipments, machineries, fittings, fixtures which are not manufactured by the developer, which he procures from the market, until the time they are having ISI certification. All those products come with a warranty of only 12 months to 18 months max. Now, when the manufacturer gives only 12 months to 18 months warranty on such products, how on earth the promoter can extend a warranty of 5 years on the same products? So this needs to be looked into. Structural defects, 5 years warranty, developers welcome it. But all the other manufactured items which the developer procures, which are ISI labeled, the promoter should not be compelled to give a 5 years defect free period, as he himself gets only 12 months to 18 months. During this COVID time, most of the projects have got delayed. A pandemic is not covered under the force majeure. A simple amendment to RERA for giving an extension during pandemic and including pandemic under the force majeure clause will ease out a lot of pressure on the developers. Today, developers are compelled to carry on with the construction activities and expose not only themselves, their staff, but even the labor at a risk of contracting COVID. So this needs to be looked into very urgently, and a blanket extension for the COVID period of this 15 months can be given for all the projects, and the force majeure clause can be suitably amended to cover the pandemic also. The developers face tremendous procedural hassles in asking for extension, which he is having the right for up to a period of 12 months under RERA. The procedure should be made very simple to give an extension for a period of 12 months, and it should be almost as an automatic right rather than a discretion of the authorities, which was not at all the intention of the act. The other area where developers find complying with RERA very difficult is registration of agreement to sell and sale date within a period of 4 to 3 months respectively. Many a times the home buyer himself is not available in the city, either being an NRI or living in some other city, and not able to come to the project place where the registration of the agreement for sale or sale deed has to be executed. In such a case, a simple affidavit from a home buyer that the delay in registration of agreement for sale or sale date has happened at his insistence and his non-availability, despite the promoter requesting him to complete it within the time frame, should be allowed. It is not fair that the promoter should be penalized for the acts of omission by the buyer. The other responsibility of the promoter is to form a society within 4 months from the date of the occupation certificate. Now, in certain states, the apartments are governed not under the Society Act but under the Apartments Ownership Act. Say, for instance, in Karnataka, the Karnataka Apartments Ownership Act 1974 governs the apartment owners. and there is no formality of forming a society and handing over the common areas to the society under the Karnataka Apartments Ownership Act. So those differences need to be handled, and a uniform system should be in place throughout the country. Article 32 is a very well intended article where the meaning of the word development in the act has been emphasized. This particular Article 32 has not been implemented till date. What does this envisage? Article 32 envisages establishment of a single window clearance for all permissions, approvals and NOCs in a time-bound manner. Article 32 also encompasses the authorities, the bureaucracy, to be penalized for their acts of omission or commission in not granting these approvals or delaying these approvals, licenses, connections, etc. in a time-bound manner. Today, the promoters are at the mercy of the bureaucrats to give all these NOCs, approvals, connections in a time-bound manner, which is not happening. And for the acts and omissions of the bureaucrats, the promoters are penalized. This is not a very fair system, which was envisaged under Article 32. Our sincere request is that Article 32 should be implemented as early as possible. One more suggestion that would really bring cheers to the home buyers, and that is the issue what I had discussed right in the beginning, that despite getting a favorable order from the regulator, the home buyer still does not get his money back. And this is primarily for the reason that the regulator has no powers to seize or attach the assets of the promoters and realize the money by auctioning those assets and seeing to it that the home buyer gets his refunds back. I would sincerely urge the government to empower the regulator with the provisions for attachment and seizure of properties of the defaulting promoters, and even the powers to auction the properties, realize the money to be paid back to the home buyers. Today there are several thousands of home buyers who have neither received their refund back nor the properties, despite having a favorable order from the regulator. This needs to change. We as developers, our full support is there with the regulator, and we are absolutely happy with the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act. Barring a few deficiencies which I have just discussed, if they are addressed, this would become a model act, and it will be in the truest sense both beneficial for the home buyers as well as the developers. Thank you.